Well, everybody, I've got a Q&A video here for you. Okay, one of the first things, I got contacted by somebody asking me, T-Man, I've got a Manco, and it has a hex axle. I need to put new tires on a hex axle, and I don't know where to get anything. That's funny because a while back, I had that same issue. What I did is I got online and I bought some 4x4 hubs that are hex axle. But there's a problem, and the hex axle that I had was a 3/4 inch hex axle, measured from flat to flat, straight across. This one here that you see, and the other one that's up on the shelf there, these are 1 inch from flat to flat. When I got these, I went to put them on the axle, and obviously they kept rotating. So we had an 1/8 inch difference between all of these hubs and the axle. So what I had to do to get it to fit is I had to make these. Now they're taped together, but what they are is these are 1/32 pieces of sheet metal. I don't know if it's 20 gauge or 18 gauge. I can't tell by looking at it. I can tell by looking at a full sheet, but looking at them in small pieces like this, it's hard to tell. But what I did is I made 3. 1, 2, 3. And then I would stagger them 1, 2, 3 on these as shims in the hub, between the hub and the axle. Now, as you can see, this is the outside of the hub, and the tire would bolt on that way. On the inside is where I would stick the shims, because the axle also had a plastic sleeve over it. That plastic sleeve pushed in on the shims so they wouldn't vibrate out and be lost when I'm driving around. So this is what I had to do to get these to work. I had to create these little shims that go right along with this, with these hubs, and that's how I fixed the problem. And they worked great for a while until I took the tires off and then put on the original 18-inch tires that I had. I think I put the Batmobile tires on there, I think, if I remember right. Big 22-inch tires on my Manco, and this is what I had to use. But yeah, I looked around and I could not find anywhere where somebody had 3/4 inch hex axle hubs. You get online, you get on eBay, or you go around to some of these other places, and everybody's got 1 inch. This is 1 inch wide from flat side to flat side. And it seems like nobody had 3/4 inch. I asked around and stuff, and I contacted the company that I ordered these from. I was like, hey, you guys got 3/4 inch axles. These are the wrong size, and I never heard back from them. So I was just like, Jesus criminy. Kind of made me a little mad. That was probably the first time I ever got blatantly ignored from a company on eBay. Yeah, but I did figure out how to get it to work. And you take 1/32 shims and stick them in there. And yeah, that worked. Okay, now another question somebody asked me about on the skis. No, the whole ski is not Pour 15. I only painted the bottom and the cracks and where the steel came together with Pour 15. Everything else is rattle canned black from Walmart. Real little cheapo stuff. And then everything else is, you know, the snazzy stuff. So no, this is not all Pour 15. This is just all rattle canned. But the thing is that the Pour 15 and the rattle can looks literally like the same stuff. So yeah. Oh, these. You guys are going to get a kick out of these. This right here, okay, this isn't a question, but I wanted to show you guys this because I knew somebody would probably ask about it. these are these are going to be lights that I'm going to make. And what these canisters are, you can see I put tape over them and then painted them up. These were, we get these cat treats, and they are these things, Temptation cat treats. And that's what they are. That's what these containers are. And they had, you know, the emblem and the brand name and stuff everywhere that's painted, and then I just put tape over it, and then I plan on putting in some LEDs and stuff like that in these and making lights out of them. Now, I'm not really too sure if I'm going to be making them a solid thing, like maybe putting them up on my ceiling or something. I don't know, it doesn't really make much sense because two sides are painted. Or I might make them out of little lanterns, you know, 9-volt battery in there with, you know, whatever. I'm not really too sure exactly what I want to do with them, but they're there, and I can use them as covers for lights or LEDs and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's for a future project. Alright guys, so we're down in the basement right now, and I'm going to show you one comment I got from
Wesley Snyder. He says, "Hi T-Man, I told myself I was going to build something like this way back when. Sadly enough, I hadn't gotten around to it. Also, can you recommend a free editing program? I'm trying my hand at YouTube vids. I have Movie Maker, but I'm not sure about it."
So I responded, sure, Movie Maker is what I started out using. One good thing to do is to look around here on YouTube for how-tos and tips and tricks. That's a search term that a lot of people don't tend to use or tend to search for, but it is a searchable term. Tips and tricks for Windows Movie Maker. Look for rendering, settings, jump cuts, fades, transitions, and also find a program that you can use to make thumbnails. I use CorelDRAW. There was also something else that I forgot to put it in there, and when you start doing YouTube videos, one thing that you're really going to want to do, because it turns into a mess really quick, file management. Yeah. The way I have my system set up is that when I get done recording, my camera will dump all of my videos into my pictures. I have pictures sitting right there. Now in there I've got a whole bunch. I've got file after file after file of all my videos. Once my camera downloads it into the file there, I pull the videos out and I bring them into Sony Vegas. I will edit it, the whole video and everything, and I make sure that I save my work. I make sure I save my file, my raw file that I'm working with. That gets dumped into my Sony raw files right there. Okay, so I always save my videos, my raw file of my videos, just in case something goes wrong when I go to upload the video. One instance, you can see I'm editing the video that you guys are watching right now. It's a good idea to do that because sometimes, and this has happened more than once, you can see that little sliver right there of something that I cut out in this video. Well, if I left that in there and I didn't notice it when I hit render to save this as a video, as a full video, what would happen is that between this point of the video and all the way over to where that sliver is at, all that would be black screen. And I wouldn't know that until I uploaded it to YouTube, or I decided to watch the video on my computer before uploading it to YouTube. I wouldn't know that was even there, especially if I was zoomed into the system, if I was zoomed into my system like that and I hit render. So if I screw up a video, I can always get back into the raw file and fix it. So I can find that sliver and delete it. Or any other thing that might be in here. It might be audio, it might be the sound of a fan or background noise or something like that that I want to take out. I know I've got my raw file sitting right here, and it's also saved into my my Sony raw file that I created. Sony raw files. Now I've got, once I render my video, it goes off into my rendered video section. See? Right there. I've got files, everything from like Here's live screen chats. When I would do my live video chats on my website a long time ago, back in the day. See, there's me drinking, what is that? Oh yeah, that was when I was drinking my hot sauce, when I was drinking Tabasco sauce. Somebody dared me to drink some Tabasco sauce, so I did it. Yeah, sometimes those would get pretty crazy. Okay, that's enough of that file. You're going to want to separate all your stuff. I mean, I've got thumbnails here. All my thumbnails for all my videos are in their own section. And like I said, I also use CorelDRAW when I make my thumbnails. See, I've got an older program, CorelDRAW 9, and you can see that's the Go Kart skis painted. This is the thumbnail that I used for the video. And I do the same thing with this also. I save the file that I'm working with, and I also then save the final thumbnail. So in the event that I, like if I, this has happened a lot, if I misspell something, then I can get back into the workspace and spell it right. Like if I were to put SKYS, skis, instead, and then I save it, and then I realize, oh wait, I spelled that wrong. Now I can open up this file again and change the spelling of it. So you kind of want to do that. You want to save your raw files that you're working with along with your final renders and all of your original videos that come off of your camera. Yeah, file management is very, very important, especially, I mean, even if you, I mean, anybody out there who's even done 20 videos will tell you that your system can get really crazy really quick if you're not splitting stuff up and separating everything. So file management in your computer is a very good thing to have. You can get used to finding stuff if you have, I mean, I've got files for call-ins. I've got files specifically for end trailers, or actually end cards, intros, outros, fly-ins, like in some of my videos where I have like the arrow fly-in and it points at stuff. Okay, that's a fly-in. That's what I call them. I call them fly-ins. That's one very important thing you're going to want to keep track of, is that kind of stuff. File management. You'll be able to slap your videos together real fast. The less you have to look through a whole plethora of a whole bunch of stuff. You keep everything separated. All right, now we're back out here in the shop again, and next question was, T-Man, how's your shoulder doing? It's doing really well. I'm still having cramping is what's happening now, and I'm stretching it all out and everything. It's I can lay down when I'm sleeping on my right side for a little while, and then the cramping starts to set in, but it's not really muscles on the outside here, it's muscles on the inside, up in here, and then in front here a little bit too. I think that happened when the swelling started to expand all my muscles, and my muscles really got stretched out, and they really, ligaments and stuff like that. But it's still gonna take a little bit, but it's working out. Yeah. Maybe I'll do an exercise video later on and show you guys how I exercise my arms and stuff. Now we're going to close this video up with a question that I've been getting asked on Facebook. Haven't had anybody ask me on Twitter. I don't think too many people pay attention to my stuff on Twitter. What's going on with my channel? What's the deal with me uploading some of my older stuff? Well, I'm not going to get too deep into it in this video because I'll be talking a lot longer. But, see, back in 2014, some of you guys out there have heard me say in past videos that there's something wrong with the system. There's something bad working against my content. Something's just not right. Something's just not letting my content grow. Well, I started noticing these patterns in stuff back in 2014, and I asked a few other YouTubers about what they're seeing in their system, and etc., etc. But so let me move over here. 1 year ago, January and February of 2015, I did something that most YouTubers would never do to their channel, and I started to shut down content. Over that 2-month period of time, I started noticing things happening on my system, on this channel, and on all my other channels. But you see, it's not really something I tested out on my other channels. It's just something that I just started noticing. To keep a long story short, just to break the shell a little bit, I did figure some stuff out. I figured out a lot of stuff. I noticed patterns. Things were happening to my channel over that 2-month period of time that shouldn't have been happening. I'll probably put that in another video, maybe, because I know a lot of you guys out there don't like to hear me talking about problems that I'm having with YouTube, but I do know that there are some of you who really would like to know how to what's going on and why your channel's not growing, etc., etc., etc. And I did figure that out. One of the things that I did notice, well, actually I don't even have to show it. Go into your own YouTube account. Those of you who are content creators, go into your own YouTube account and go into last month's. Go into last month's, December, or this is January. Go into last month's and look at your audience retention rate. All of last month across your entire channel. I'm willing to bet that not a single one of you has an audience retention rate over 35%. While you're looking at that number, look at what videos are being exposed more on the system. Which ones are getting more viewed? And then ask yourself, why the hell is that video out there so much? That's one of the many things that I figured out when I did this 2 years ago, when I did this last year. Now, once I figured that out, I tried to do a few other things over this past year to see if I could get things fixed, and I couldn't. So I'll just leave it at that. But for those of you out there who, most likely I'll put it on a different video that's going to be longer, and I'm going to talk to you guys about certain things that I saw, patterns, and why my channel's not growing, what's going on with YouTube's system. Regardless of what your tags are, what your thumbnails are, regardless of what's happening, all the tools that you might be using on the platform, why is your channel not growing? Yeah, I'll be letting you guys know that kind of stuff, why mine isn't, and what I started seeing. I'll put that in a different video for those of you who would like to know. And I was able to figure out a few little secrets too. I haven't taken advantage of them. I don't want to. But, yeah, I figured some stuff out that's really discouraging. I was going to be putting up a drive video of the Hyperion cart, put the skis on it and stuff like that, but strangely enough, we've had some really warm weather, and it's like everything's melting outside. Everything's like slush. So, yeah. While the East Coast is getting blasted, we're melting. Yeah. Alright, see you guys in the next one.